In the scriptures, in Upanishad, they have mentioned about the Panchkosha. So first we'll understand what is Panchkosha, then we'll go into our, scientific spirituality, understanding of 7-body system, which is starting with this Panchkosha, but we go a little further. So this is the, on spiritual journey, we need to know certain kind of roadmap. So this is for that purpose. Where we are going, what is the ultimate purpose? So any workshop, I start with understanding of this 7-body system. So that's what is today's topic. And I start our presentation with a simple question that what is spirituality? Simply, what is it? Spirituality, what does that mean? I explain that because there are many versions of that is available. Many people have misunderstand, So that, to make it clear, some people think it is a higher version of some religion, nothing to do with that. Spirituality is establish direct connection with your soul consciousness, and once it is established, then be under its constant guidance, moment by moment guidance. This is the purpose of spirituality. It is your own connection with your own soul consciousness or inner guru. And then further it is guided by that. Once that connection is established fully, that is, you can say that is enlightenment, then the external guru's job is over. External guide's job is over. Then you are guided by your own soul consciousness. Your own soul consciousness or soul knows everything. So it guides you. It's there with you for the lifetime after lifetime. And whether you know it or not doesn't matter. It is there, and it will be guiding you, and it will be, for the one life is over, it will plan for the next life, and so on and so forth. So there cannot be any better guru than your own soul. So that's why it is called inner guru. So external, all we are practicing, the purpose is to establish the direct broadband connection with your own soul consciousness. It is nothing to do with any kind of intellectual understanding. It is good. It is nothing wrong in, theoretical knowledge, what other people say about it, what is written in the books, or many people has got their sharing. So remember this, any book, any scripture, anything, it is somebody else's experience, not yours. Nothing wrong. It is not about right and wrong, but I'm just making understanding clear. Reading cannot take you to the enlightenment. Your inner guru cannot be awakened by theoretical knowledge, because your soul consciousness knows everything. It is nothing your soul need to know, so far as your enlightenment and spiritual things are concerned. So what the external guru are doing, they are helping you to remember, again become member of your own soul consciousness, which has got this is one incarnation, lot of incarnations. So you become a member of that again. That's what it is helping you to do that. It is not creating that. It is helping you to remember. So this understanding, this part is clear. What is spirituality? I'm coming to basics because I feel it is time to time it is better to remember. Otherwise we go progress some path, misunderstand the basics. And exactly this is the reason initially we discourage, don't get bothered by what is written here, what is written there, what is published by so-and-so, or giving quotation from the Gita, giving quotation from some other master. Nothing wrong with that. But what the understanding is, that will not take you there. It is like eating food. Watching somebody is eating food will not, your hunger will not be served. So you have to do on your own. You use that only to inspire you, nothing more than that. Ultimately, you have to walk your own path. You have to get those experiences yourself, and then your progress will be further. Just after joining, Hariom asked a question that what is good to listen to some, some masters, session and meditate or practice with that, or independently. Again, the same thing applies here. Masters are helping you, so it is good to be in contact with the master or attending some session of any master. I'm not saying a particular one, don't go to other. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is just be in the energy, enjoy, that is fine. But so far as your practice is concerned, make sure you are not dependent on any external thing which is outside you. Even this voice recording of the master, you listen time to time just to recapitulate and refresh your understanding. That is fine. Or sometime meditate with that, but do not get dependent on that. There are some people, they are practicing meditation with some kind of music. There are a lot of music available, meditational music, Tibetan music, gong and this and that. So nothing wrong in enjoying meditation with that. But what happens is, after a certain time, without that music, they cannot meditate. They cannot concentrate. They need something to that. This is where the dependency comes. That is why we consciously discourage it from the beginning. We discourage it, don't meditate with those music. We say nothing wrong with the music, nothing wrong, even experience that. It is fine. But don't get dependent. If anything we repeat too many times, we get dependent on that one. That is why we say, even though it is not, suppose you are in the presence of a master, it is a wonderful session. It's fine. Enjoy that. But when we're doing alone, it may not be that great. It is okay. But still, it is important for you to practice on your own so that you will not get dependent on something. So that is the clear understanding of the spirituality, what is spirituality and what is the how we go forward to it. Now, I'm coming to this, that Panchkosha. We'll start with that. Okay. This purpose of mentioning Upanishad is not that we wanted to discuss Upanishad. I just give a reference from where the Panchkosha name came. That's all it is. So this Panchakosha is, kosha means layers. Seat, the layer. So Panch means 5 in Sanskrit, and Kosha, this is the layers. So which are the layers? So first one is called Annamaya Kosha. Annamaya Kosha means which needs food, Anna. So our physical body is called Annamaya Kosha, which needs food. And because to grow spiritually, there are, what I'm going to mention, all these things need to be maintained well and go beyond that. I will come back to that. What is the purpose of that? First, you understand what are those. You know that, but I'm just repeating it so that, then again, we're bringing back to the understanding and discussion. Many times I say, okay, this is coming from your fourth body. Somebody said, my father has expired. Can I communicate with him? I said, sure, you can go to your fourth body. So what is that fourth body? I have told in the workshops and things like that. But again, it is time to time, I feel it is better to, recapitulate and make the understandings clear. What is that is meant. So Annamaya Kosha is the first body, or the physical body. Okay, what it needs food to maintain it. Not only food, then physical exercises. It needs good quality water. For spiritual practices, we recommend sattvic food or high pranic foods to to more energy and physical exercises, and alkaline water. Our body is little bit acidic, so to neutralize, if we choose a alkaline water, 8 to 8.5 pH water is the best for the body. We have one of our this thing, Guru Bhai, he has started a factory of alkaline water here in Dubai. So we take from him, they deliver it to our house, like a bottled water, but it's alkaline. So we drink that, and so that helps. So these are the type, we have a lot of discussion about food earlier in the group. So all these things to maintain the physical body, and you need high pranic level food, preferably sattvic food, physical exercises, whether you like it or not. We have already taught holistic exercises. We uploaded 3 videos on that. So we need to maintain our physical body, because it is called sadhan. Sadhan means the temple of the soul. Sadhan, where you can do sadhana. Without physical body, the sadhana is not possible. Enlightenment, self-realization is not possible. You need physical body. A soul cannot get enlightened because it's already there. Only our physical body have to have the experience of that. That's how we evolved. So without physical body, that experience is not possible. So we need to maintain it, and with a proper the physical exercises, diet and water, and with that, so we have to maintain it disease free. I'm not saying that you have to go to the bodybuilding championships, so go to the gym every day 3 hours. No need. Just maintain it. Just maintain your physical body. So unless until your physical body is fit, you cannot have the spiritual experiences. That is clear. We need to maintain the disease-free and energetic body. So this is the first kosha, Annamaya kosha, and what mentioned in Upanishad, and that's what it means in our spiritual, that 7-body system. The first body is a physical body. So Annamaya kosha is physical body, and it needs these things. But of course, in spiritual journey, this is only the foundation. The building is not there. It is just the like a house I'm giving example now. It's just a foundation. So you cannot live in the foundation. You need to build something on it. So I will go to the further higher kosha on that. By the way, just jokingly saying, why physical body has not given much importance in the spiritual journey, because they have a lot of hindrance. All this kind of the brain activities and mind comes, ego comes into play, and it because of that it becomes a hindrance. Lot of great masters, they Annamaya kosha is what Upanishad said, and the physical body, what our 7-body system it is said. Higher level of masters, sometimes if you see the way they describe the human body, you will be shocked. See, the thing is like that. That some company, some factory is named with the thing it produces. Okay, suppose something is producing cars, so it's a car factory, right? Something is producing say maybe mobile phone, so it is a mobile phone factory. Something is creating some paint, so it is a paint factory. Something producing ice, it is an ice factory. Something is producing cement, it is a cement factory. So what human body produce? Human body produces shit. So they call it, human body is nothing more than a shit factory. Okay. Means indirectly they are saying don't give much importance to a physical body. Okay. It You have to maintain it, but don't give too much of these things. So it is a shit factory, go beyond that. So basically they're saying don't spend too much of time and energy to, to beautify and glorify your physical body. There is much higher things to feel glorified about. So don't stuck with the shit factory. That's what they say. Anyway, that's jokes apart. So now we'll go to the second level. That is, second is our kosha wise. The second kosha is called pranamaya kosha. Pranamaya kosha is pran. Pran is the life force energy which runs our life. Kosha is layer. So physical body you can see, you can touch, you can feel, and that is the physical body. It is in the 3 dimension. This next one is go to the next higher level layer, that pranamaya kosha. It is go to the energy system of the body. So it is an energy system which you cannot directly see. It takes having the same shape of our body, just like a glow around our body, 1 and 2 inch thick. It is also, you can experience it as a form of light or heat. In Bangalore, we have done this workshop, looking into the aura, and Vidya also, she is here, so she also experienced that this aura like a heat, right, Vidya? Have you experienced that aura in Bangalore in 2018, I think, a workshop?
Yeah, I remember in one of the houses you stood
Yes.
in front of the wall, and we could very clear, Madhushri was there, we could very clearly see the aura around you, and you told that it is possible by each and everyone, provided with some prescribed things.
That's right. Everyone, the attendees, they experience themselves, and then, so either that's what want to make a point. It can be either see as a glow, or you can feel like a difference in temperature. If you bring the hand close and one particular point, you see there is some kind of temperature difference. That's where the aura is. Anyway, so that is called pranamaya kosha. This pranamaya kosha, so how to maintain that? All the breathing exercises you do, all this kriya you practice, those cleanse and purify that aura. So this is the second body, which is called etheric body or energy body. And this is what was in the mention in the Upanishad as pranamaya kosha. Okay, so it is an energy body, and that is the configuration. It looks like the same like our human body, like a border. You might have seen some TV ad of Dettol, one child with a green color, some protection thing they show. It will look somehow similar, but white color. So that is called pranamaya kosha. The third one, out of panch kosha, the fifth one is called manamaya kosha. Manamaya means man, which is our mind. Manamaya kosha, it is where our all these thoughts, emotions, these get created. It is play of these thoughts and emotions. Those are played in that body. So that is the third body. And anything we do to, on the thought level, purify the thought, positive thought, thinking positively, and controlling emotions, all those are help that body to get clean. So when we start meditating, we also do the same thing. We start with we purify the thought, watch the thought, and all these things. This will witnessing the thought. It will help us to get that body to strengthen and grow. So you can see that in our 6-step meditation we do the same order. So if first we start with the the breath awareness to bring the mind into the present, then the kaya upasana, then chitta upasana. So the physical body, then the mind, and so forth. We go higher. So this Manomaya Kosha is you can say the thought body or emotional body, and this is the body is also called astral body. Astral body, and this with thought, emotion, that body, this astral body can, during when we sleep, it leaves our physical body and then come out of the physical body. Even during meditation, our astral body leaves our physical body and it experiences itself. It can travel also. So, and some people during sleep, they can have astral travel. So this particular third body, they leave the body. And this is also known as Shukshma Deha. In the Shukshma Deha means not the whole physical body, it's the form of the body. It leaves the physical body and goes. So this is called astral body, and this is all thoughts, emotions, and things are there into that one. And in previous one, that energy body, just I missed one point. The energy body will also have that all the desires and like feeling hungry, all these things are there in the second body. All kind of lower desires and things are also there in the second body. When people die, the physical body definitely goes off. Then this also, etheric body also slowly disappears. So after that, all the feeling of hunger and all that also goes. But rest of the body remains. Third and above remains, and they can be seen as a orb. Like Shukshma Deha, they can be seen as an orb. That I will discuss that separately in detail. I have put a picture of orbs can be captured in camera. During our sessions, orbs came and all this. What is orb? What does that mean, etc. We'll have a separate session on that. But just understand, without physical body, last two, without this physical body and etheric body, energy body, rest of the things can appear as an orb. Shukshma Deha, and that can travel. So that can travel, and it doesn't take any time. Time and space doesn't matter there. It can instantly go anywhere it wishes to. Okay. And during the sleep, every night, even our own astral body leaves our physical body. Our physical body is sleeping, astral body goes on. Shukshma Deha goes out. And we experience something and come back. Even during meditation, you will see sometimes you feel like some jerk is there. That is, the jerk is because that time your astral body leaves your physical body. That's why you feel that jerk. Sometimes it goes smoothly without any jerk, but sometime you feel that jerk. So those are the part of that astral body leaving your physical body. Okay, this is just for the understanding purposes. And how it looks like. Okay, more you go into higher into the vibration, you can even see in the naked eye, like you see the aura. Like I have given example of Bangalore workshop. Many other places also have done that. People have seen aura, and this third level, this emotional body or astral body, when you are in living body, if you see that it will be seen like, I'm just giving you some idea. It will be seen like an big egg, ellipsoid around the body, like it looks like the whole body is inside a capsule. The capsule, and people are standing there, and there's a big egg sort of thing, which is maybe about 20 to 30 centimeter away from the body, like a big egg. It, physically, the egg is maybe the, Amar Akbar Antony, that Amitabh Bachchan came out from the egg, something like that. But it is not full height, it is a half height. So imagine that as a full height egg of that. So that kind of thing. It is, and this ellipsoid, and that's what I'm saying, it's covering the whole body, around 1 foot away from the body, covering the whole body, standing. And this particular body, I'm just saying, it has got a color. First layer is white, and this body has a color. From where the color comes? Color comes from the chakra you are operating at that moment. Means if somebody is angry, it is a Muladhara chakra that is operating. Then the red color, reddish tinge comes. Something very much, working out of greed and things like that. Then comes to Manipura. That is yellow color. Or somebody is expressing love and all. It's a green color. Then finally it is there's a blue color, the throat, that higher communication from the wisdom is a violet. And then again, it goes higher, then it is become white again. And for the great masters, if they have, they have cleaned all these bodies, the same body looks like golden. Okay, if somebody's the etheric body is become golden, they are a very high level of masters, big golden aura, Okay, I'm just giving you for your information. But if it is white, then it is a very white glow. It starts with white, and that is also another white or little bit of violet or purple color. That's how it is. It looks like normally. So that is about your emotional body or astral body or sukshma sharir. Many masters mention I travel that with my sukshma sharir. Sukshma sharir means this. Okay. So this is the astral body. So now this is how it's called about the third and fourth one. Fourth one is called Vijnanamaya Kosha. Vigyan means it is not the science Vigyan mentioned here. Vigyan means the Gyan of the Virat, Vistarit Jagruta. This Vigyan means you have who has the knowledge of the higher spiritual understanding, that knowledge, spiritual knowledge. So that particular thing, that is called the knowledge body. Vijnanamaya Kosha is also known as knowledge body or mental body. Mental means, again, it is the mind of the soul. You can take it like that, or the memory of the soul, something of that nature. So this is the knowledge body or Vijnanamaya Kosha. So this Vijnanamaya Kosha here, and it can be, this knowledge gets purified with the truth, the realized truth, experiential understanding. What we are, I stress upon that theoretical understanding and experiential understanding. Theoretical understanding is limited only up to your brain, physical level. But experiential understanding go to this knowledge body, this fourth body. Okay. So this is where this is called Vijnanamaya Kosha in Upanishad. So that is that knowledge. When we say that the soul knows everything, it is this body which gives all the information, including your past birth, your future, soul's plan. So all these things are, you can get it from here. So it is basically we can say the library of the soul. So that's why it's the Vijnanamaya Kosha. So any wisdom, this awareness and understanding, that purifies that. Experiential understanding, spiritual awareness, that purifies this body. And the fifth one, which is the last one as per the Upanishad, that is called Anandamaya Kosha, or the bliss body. So that is the thing where everything dissolves and you are with the higher consciousness. You are the universal soul consciousness has merged into or in direct contact with universal consciousness. That body, fifth, is Anandamaya Kosha.
Guruji, sorry for interruption. The Vijnanamaya Kosha, what is the physical entity find? How you can physically identify? Can it be identified? Or
No.
where is the location? Like until now we have learned that one is equivalent to the body, another one is like an ellipsoid. What is the state of this Vijnanamaya Kosha?
Yeah, no, Vijnanamaya Kosha you cannot, normally you cannot see. Okay. Normally you cannot see, but the masters who has already walked the path, they can see that. We can not only the fourth, fifth body also can. I'll come back to that one. Okay. That is called Akashic record.
Okay.
Okay. So that normally you cannot see, but it is possible to see. Big masters can see that.
Correct.
And that's how they read your Akashic record. Without you telling, they can tell you what happened in the past and all these kind of things. They read your Akashic record. And this is basically from fifth body and fourth body. Okay, but this Akashic record, normal, the people, they cannot read it. Neither it got some kind of size and something like that. So it is more of a, like you can see that it is like some kind of screen of fog, you can say. Okay, it looks like that. But to make it meaningful, you need to have a very higher understanding. And I'm just saying it here. To see that, you need to clean yourself. If you see somebody else, you have to have the complete cleanliness within you. Otherwise, you cannot see. Like you cannot directly see it reflected you as a mirror. So unless until your mirror is perfect and clean, no curvature, nothing, perfect, clean and purified, you cannot reflect that message on you. Oh no, suppose, in the water body, so you wanted to see the, say, solar eclipse, because you cannot see the sun directly. So to understand how solar eclipse is happening, so earlier days, what used to do, people used to look at the water, the water body, or they put some kind of, plate of water and then they see into that one. Lunar eclipse or solar eclipse, they see it that way. If that water is disturbed, you cannot see what is happening. You can see something is happening, but what? You cannot figure. So more the still the water, the better the view is. And exactly how the masters, they read your Akashic record. So basically what I'm saying, if you see directly, it will look like a fog. Look like nothing there. Okay, but when it is reflected into your consciousness, that reflection comes. This is a higher knowledge. I'm just giving a hint. So don't bust your brain into this. I'm saying this is how it is done. But detailed technology will discuss in the appropriate time. Okay. Even I cannot do it. I cannot read somebody's Akashic record. Okay. Prem Nirmal ji, he can do it. Okay. So I'm still learning. So that aspect. So what I'm saying is it's not important who can do what. What I'm saying is this is how it is done. And also it is true in the divine grace, everybody is not given the same thing. Like we have our skill set, suppose I have done engineering, maybe I'm very bad at accounting. Okay, so not everybody has given everything. So that's how it is. But if you say how accounting is done, I can tell you this is how accounting is done, but that does not necessarily mean I'm expert in that accounting. Okay, anyway, so the understanding wise, so Hariom, it is clear that it cannot be given any shape.
Correct.
It look like some fog, okay, without any specific shape, some screen sort of thing. But to read, it is possible to read that.
This is
how it is being done.
Guruji, this is outside our body?
Yes. Outside our body, further. Okay. Outside that so-called egg. Okay. Outside that. But it is possible to read that. Okay. So Vigyanmaya Kosh and then Anandamaya Kosh. Bliss body, actually it is called when it is cleaned. So cleaned of what? Cleaned of your karmic impressions. All our karmic impressions are there in the fifth. Okay, before I go into karmic thing, first you understand the Panch Kosha is the fifth kosha. It ends there. Okay, the bliss body, it ends there. But we, as I told, we have a 7. We have 2 more. So my understanding is Upanishad Vadyam and Panch Kosha, the fifth body, is right understanding is 5 and above. Okay, it is not 5 only. It is 5 and above. The whole spectrum they have considered as the Anandamaya Kosha. Anand, the joy. The spiritual, the joy of the beingness, the spiritual connection. That Satchit Anand, that joy. So this is called Anandamaya Kosha. When you be the oneness, you feel that Anand. Okay. So that is the Anandamaya Kosha, and this is also can be reached there. This can be experienced post enlightenment. Before enlightenment, this phase is not possible to experience. Glimpses, yes, because Satori. Okay, so this experience 5 and above is only the beyond enlightenment area. So it is not possible otherwise to go into that way. So that is a sadhana is all about, starting from the physical body and slowly go into the higher level of awareness, the maintaining them, cleaning them. So up to here, so as I said, sattvic food, high pranic food, exercises, getting out of any kind of disease and control and conflict, thing like that, maintain the physical body and the mind, quieten the mind, don't allow that ego to run the show, quieten it, and then you can do that. Then the Manamaya Kosha, be in the witness, be in the thought, witnessing the thought, Chitta Upasana. So then finally we'll find the gap and it'll take it us to the further. Then our direct experiences will happen. Higher thing, the truth, we'll realize the truth directly, first hand, not by reading. As I said, reading is somebody else's truth. They are just sharing. So when you come to that stage, that is you touch the Vigyanmaya Kosha. And enlightenment, as once the people are enlightened, they, at their will, they can download anything from this Vigyanmaya Kosha, the knowledge body. They can connect at any time. Just one breathing is enough to connect with the knowledge body. And from there, the fifth body, what I was just discussing, let me discuss fourth and fifth together. It will be, because it is more important. So fifth body is also known as causal body. Causal body, or it is also known as Karan Deha. Karan means the cause of everything. Why, I'll explain later. But in Upanishad it's called Anandamaya Kosha, and that ends there. Now I'm going to the explaining 5th, 6th and 7th further. So it is important to the distinguish mentioning to distinguish it to I so it is so it is so Anandamaya Kosha is clear. Panch Kosha I have already explained. So I am now going into the 7 body system. Okay, going to further into detail. This yes, yeah.
So far, so we have Annamaya and then Pranamaya,
Yeah.
and the third one is
Manomaya. Manomaya Kosha.
and then Sushamaya,
No, Bigyanmaya Kosha.
Vijnanmaya, and
Then Anandamaya Kosha.
Anandamaya. Okay. Now, question is that the reason why when the physical body leaves, that during the period of our restraint and prayers for the soul for 11 or 13 days, depending on is it because all the sensory, like you said, all the sensory organs maybe still, or I shouldn't say organs, senses are still there with the body. That's why
desires are there. Desire to eat food and all that.
Okay.
So that is a Pranamaya Kosha. It stays about 11 to 13 days, then it disappears. Disappears means it goes back to the pull energy of the sun. Not goes back to the sun. I'm saying the energy of the sun, which is available on the earth, it goes there. Okay.
Okay.
That's why all those rituals we offer food and things like that and put it onto the rooftop and things like that.
I see.
Okay.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to explain a little bit detail about the 5th body, because this is also a very important body. So I'm just clarifying. I have completed Panch Kosha. Is done with that. Now I'm giving the 7 body system. Already I explained 4th. 5th one is called causal body. Or Karan Deha. Karan Deha, cause of everything. So it is very important body and important to understand this, because listen this part very carefully. On the 5th body, all our karmic accounts are stored. When you wanted to read any of this karmic thing, what was the karmic connection? So we have to download karmic body, say from library. We have to take that particular account book from the 5th and bring it to 4th to open and read. Like that is a stored memory, and this is the whatever you call RAM, or the where you read these things. Or you can say it's a book rack and this is the table in the 4th body when you can read that. So this all the karmic accounts are stored in the causal body, Karan Deha. Because whatever happening in our life, it is ultimate, the cause is coming from there. So this is causal body and Karan Deha. When all karmic accounts are closed, or with the divine grace, the karmic annihilation takes place, or Guru Kripa happened, these are lifted, people got enlightened. That is called Guru Kripa. When these karmic accounts are burned by the divine grace. Your personal capacity is not enough that so many 100 lifetimes of karma you can burn in a single life. Or roast, we call the meditative fire, you can roast them, but it is not possible. At one point of time divine grace happen. When and how we cannot dictate. There is no rule. It can happen on the first day, it can happen after 10 years or 20 years, we don't know. It's all divine grace. Okay, we can walk the path 100% with conviction, and that's the best we can do, and that is what is recommended to do. When these karmas are lifted, that body become a bliss body. So causal body become a bliss body. That Anandamaya Kosha, what is written, the last in the Panchkosha, it is after you remove the karma. Okay, so that's what I was telling, that it is true, but full story is not there. It doesn't end there. So that's what I'm saying. The whatever in the Upanishad they mention fifth body, that is actually 5 and above. Before cleaning, after cleaning, both are there. So this particular thing, up to causal, and this very high level of masters, when they appear, they come with their bliss body. Or it is also known as golden body. When Babaji came and gave the instruction, he comes with his golden body. Because he need to come down from his 7th. So he chooses most of the time to come only up to 5th and then give that whatever he wants to give, and then he dissolves himself there. So this golden body, you can disconnect, and you can through that you can get this understanding. So it comes from the 5th body to your 4th body. Then you understand what is meant. Yes, Aditi?
This golden body is known as Jyotirmoyi Roop, like that.
Yes. Yeah. So, but understanding was clear. This is the 5th body. Okay. This now, Sonali, you want to ask something? Sonali?
Yeah. Asking you a very stupid question. I'm really telling
Nothing
you,
is
asking you a
stupid.
very stupid question. No, I'm asking if I don't eat sattvic food, so I won't be able to reach over there anyway. What I am thinking is that I have to take a sattvic food and all that. I am very much non-vegetarian, so there is no chance for me to try for this way. Is that so?
No, it is always there. You have to start somewhere, no? So then you can make the journey. So you can say, I'm on my way. I'm not there yet. That is a true statement. But I will never go there. You cannot say that. You don't know what will happen in the next moment. Forget about
The
your
first thing you
spiritual
asked. No, you first at least said that you have to take sattvic food, that vegetarian one, and that, that is what I am asking, that I don't take that kind of food. So I think there is no way for me.
No, I'll tell you this, because food already you discussed in a length. So I don't want to discuss in detail here. Just I'm giving you one statement. You take it. If there is any question, you post it in the group. I'll explain that. Okay. The thing is that it need to happen. Okay. I'm not saying that this is good or this is bad. At one point of time, you don't feel like having, because this non-veg food will make you denser. Like it means you are going, some people are, say, a loudspeaker, they are, playing a song. It is also a song. Some people are dancing with it, but you are not enjoying that because it is too loud for you. Same thing will happen when you walk. If you meditate and walk, do the kriya, one point of time will come where you will not feel like having that food. You wait till that time. When it automatically happens, you need not to do anything. It will happen. Only
I
thing you
would like
try.
to add something.
You try. You don't see absenteeism, like forceful. No. I'm spiritual. I will not take non-veg. That will not work. Forget about non-veg. I have a serious alcoholism problem. Compulsive alcoholism. I get out of that. Absenteeism, taking out from this, don't visit, nothing worked. But one point of time, it automatically happens. And how it happens, that to understand this technology, by Dhyan Agni, listen this part carefully. I'm not going to detail because otherwise I'll not be able to explain further on this topic. In Dhyan Agni, when you meditate, in Dhyan Agni, the systems inside us get ripe, like a fruit. It gets ripe, like I say, guava. One point of time, see, before that, it is very difficult to remove a guava from a tree. Okay, you can pull, you cannot take it out. In childhood, we used to, twist it so that we try to pull. It's still, whole branch is bending down, but the fruit is not coming out. That was the state. Same fruit, when it is ripe, become yellowish, and it drops off on its own. No force needed. And when it drops off on its own, it is irreversible. The fruit cannot go back to the tree again. It's done. So what I am saying is, when you meditate, when you do Kriya, system within you get ripe. And this non-veg food habit, but which is, related to killing something for having food, you have a choice. That desire to kill something for your own, eating, if you have option, if you don't have option, you do it. Okay, so because there are many animals, they don't have any option, they eat that. So they eat it. They don't bind anything. It will be dropped off from your system. Then you will not feel like having that. So you wait up to that. It is not about, I'm not having, non-veg food from tomorrow. It will not work. After 20th or 30th, they will feel like having and you will have it. That will not work. You concentrate on meditation, concentrate on Kriya, let the system ripe within you. It will be dropped off from your system and that will be irreversible. Okay, clear? Understanding? Okay, yeah. So no need to feel guilty about it. Just concentrate on your sadhana. One point of time, it will happen. Okay.
I would like to add something here, RPA, if
yes,
you allow.
Kanika? Yeah.
Sonali, whatever you raised a question, I have an answer because that happened with my own self. I was also non-vegetarian, and one fine day, just like that, I felt that, before my 40th birthday, and I used to consume a lot of alcohol also. And a lot of alcohol means just neat, no water, nothing is required. Just like that, before my 40th birthday, I felt like, I must stop having alcohol and non-veg. Just a thought came into my mind, nobody told me. And nobody forced me to start it off as well. So I told my family that, I'm dropping on my 40th birthday, I will stop consuming alcohol and non-vegetarian. They all laughed on my face. You know how much you drink and how you drink, and you will not be able to do it. They laughed on my face that, okay, har sharabi aise bolta hai, main to chhod dunga, par koi aasan nahi hota chhodna. So it was a fun. And I felt ki shayad mujhe nahi bolna chahiye tha. I should have taken my own time to convey to my family that I want to drop it. But then I realized, I said, okay, but if it has come from my inner voice, it's my inner voice. If it has come from within, I must follow, even if they are laughing at me. So I stopped. And even after that, when I was traveling, my husband used to book, my meal as a non-vegetarian meal, and I never used to eat it. And I told him that, I told you I'm vegetarian now. He said, mujhe laga mazak kar rahi ho tum. So I never used to eat while traveling because it's a non-vegetarian meal and I was not feeling like eating. Though, if you consider that's a free meal for me, right? But when I decided I don't want to eat, and that came from within, no force was there. Though I was vegetarian and now I have stopped even eating egg, I am not even feeling like eating egg. So I think what RPA said is absolutely right. Things will come from within and you'll feel that you don't need it anymore. And then you won't even crave for it. So no external force is required, or we don't have to show off to anyone. When it will come from within, and we'll definitely do it. Now I don't crave for alcohol or non-vegetarian or egg. I'm very much happy with the vegetarian food. As if I never had non-vegetarian and alcohol. It's like that. It has completely gone out of my system. I don't miss it at all.
Good, great story.
That is my own experience.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. So we'll proceed with our further thing. So next body, sixth body is called cosmic body. Cosmic body or Brahma Sarir. And this is actually also known as a spiritual body. This body can be, you can reach there only after enlightenment. Listen this part very carefully. When all things get dropped off, you reach there. No karmic thing left. No, no emotional attachment. Forget about all these lowers. So lower part through detachment, and then what you do when you during meditation, that is a Dhyan Yoga. During Dhyan Yoga, you are downloading this information from your fourth body. One point of time will come where at your will you can know everything. What happened, which life, what is the skill set you had, and what are the experiences you had in a different lifetime. You become an industry on your own. Like suppose you have the 700 people's experience in this life, you can download at your will. You can be multi-skilled, highly aware person, to operate anything it comes into in your life. Suppose in this life you never met with an accident, but some other life you met with an accident. You know what does that feel and what precautions you need to do to avoid that. So you have that knowledge available right now. You have a particular skill set. One of the life you maybe have a good singer. You never practice in this life, but those you can bring it and you can be skillful right now like this. So these are the kind of things will happen. One point of time will come, because remember this knowledge is not the theoretical knowledge you download and store in the brain. In fact, in this particular case, brain would be bypassed. No need to store anything, because in the moment you can download at your will. To give a nearby example, it is like a Google. You need to store. You go and put the word, it will come to you. Okay, so you need not to store anything because you have the system available. Same here. So you come to a state when at your will you can download any knowledge of your past parts and things like that, and this higher knowledge will all the truth. At your will you can download that information at any time. When it happens, then you transcend the knowledge body. You go beyond the knowledge body, because at your will you can download any information. I mean spiritual information. So that thing, when it happens, you go beyond that also. And then Guru Kripa happens, then all the karmic accounts are lifted, so you landed up into the sixth. It is a clean, no karmic account, lower body attachment desires are all there in the lower bodies. You get through detachment, you come up. Knowledge body you have gone across by just with this awareness that any moment you can download any knowledge. That's it, because you have the power. Go beyond that, then when the Guru Kripa happens, you have already meditated enough to loosen up your karmic accounts, or things like that. Finally things are lifted, you got liberated, you reach to the sixth. Now you don't have any desire, you don't have any attachment, you don't have you can download any information at your will, like about you, and karmic accounts are all neutralized, and you are in the witness all the time, 24/7. So new karma, kriyaman karma is not generated. You have to maintain also. It is not that if you do some mistake, you will come down for sure. That is the sixth level, which is we operate with your cosmic body. When these lower things are not there, so in that state, you need not to take birth, because there is no karma to take birth again. This will be your last life. But again, there is some versions. I'm not going into that detail. Just to touch upon that point. Karmic birth, there is no need, but you can still take on your will, called dharmic birth. You just take birth to help people, to teach people. That's all. Many masters that take that birth, they don't have any karmic account left. They got enlightened beforehand. They could have been liberated. They need not to come back, but they have chosen to come back with a compassion. Because you operate from the pure love and compassion in that level. You don't have any self-interest left. all the time, your effort is to align with the divine forces and flow it through you and guide people with out of compassion. Whatever action you take, that is out of compassion. The masters still, they keep little bit by the choice, keep little bit of, some kind of attachment, something, or little bit of ego by choice. Ego is under them, not controlling them. Because without ego, you cannot operate in the physical world. You need to plan something, you need accounting. We have to go for a business deal, you need ego. Ego is not bad. I'm not saying ego is bad. When spiritual journey, ego is a hindrance. But you need ego to operate in the physical world. Understand that. So the masters, they keep by their choice, they put little bit. Okay. But they can give away anytime. Okay. So they are in that level. So after that, this is the sixth body. So, and there is no, what is called, no engram, no physical thing can be seen or nothing. That ends with the fifth. What is called Akashic records. Those are the fourth and fifth. That can be seen in the Akashic record. In sixth, those are also gone. Okay, you don't, you are fully aligned with the universal consciousness. That is, the name is, this cosmic body, and also in some of the masters, of the earlier master, they call it a Brahma Sarir. Brahma Sarir means your Sarir is connected with this universal consciousness. The Brahman is connected. Brahman means the universe. So that is your cosmic body or universal body. So you become a representative of that. You are solely into that oneness, but still operating. You have an identity. That is the only thing left. What is left? Your identity is left. Who is what, by name or something. Okay, he is so-and-so, she is so-and-so. Or soul's identity is there. And the last one, which is the nirvanic body, or the divine body. And the spiritual body to divine body. Divine body is a dissolution, the merger, the moksha. In fact, technically, it is not a body. It is the background. It is the canvas. It is a sea when the river is merged. Okay, so that is the right understanding. In the nirvanic body, when it is completely merged with the universal consciousness, then the identity is lost. So what is the last thing left? Your soul's identity. And that is also gone here. So once it has gone into the nirvana, they cannot take birth again because they are merged. Experience is there, consciousness is there, and this is the same consciousness. Go back to the oneness. Earlier you are connected with the oneness, you're operating through that oneness. Now here, if this last identity is gone, you got nirvana, you are moksha. Yes, Aditi?
Not even dharmic birth is possible also.
No, dharmic is possible, but let me tell you one thing also, that this is a lower understanding, because Babaji is our moksha guru. I was baffled with this question, because that is, Babaji is the guru who will help us from 6 to 7 body. The final moksha guru. We have a lot of gurus in the physical dimension who will guide us, teach us, show us different techniques and give some kind of gyan. But ultimate, what happens is the lower body is better folded and finally comes with last and then merges. So this is the sadhana is all about. From 1 to 6th. And from 6th to 7th, then you need a moksha guru for final dissolution. So Babaji is our moksha guru, not the physical guru. Okay. The lower level, his agents are taking care of that. Okay. So he doesn't need to come into that. So what thing I was baffling about, you cannot guide somebody to nirvana unless until you have undergone that process, right? How can I teach something that I have not learned? So the question I was baffling, I leave it there because I still don't have the full understanding, but I will give my impression. If Babaji has already got that nirvana, how he can come back and help us become a guru, moksha guru? Okay. So he did that. Okay. So you can say he's an exception in that sense. But for us, it is all not possible to come back. So let us not bust our brain into what, about those things. So those are the things, these are the divine grace and divine exceptions, what makes the things to run. So we leave it there. We don't want to understand it fully, and this is none of our business, but this has definitely happened for Babaji. Okay. But for us, let us apply the normal rule than the exceptions. So this is the right understanding. So that completes our learning session today with the 7-body system. So if you have any further question, you can ask. Yes, Shravan?
Yeah. So, but eventually, all our souls, right, will go through this. May not be in this lifetime, but over a period of lifetime. The eventual destination is to get the moksha, right? So
that is the only way. Only way.
Okay. But is it by design that all these souls will not be able to get the moksha in one period of time? Otherwise, how this universe will function, right? We have been sent to do certain work. So if we are all getting into that journey of moksha, then this will not work, right? This universe will not work. So is it by design or?
No. First, let me get an understanding correct.
Okay.
Is it right? My understanding, you are saying if all souls get, then world will be empty. Are you telling that?
No, I'm saying that if everybody gets to that point that we will all
understand. What I'm saying is, what is the issue? Means everybody will get, pass through, enlighten and pass through. Then who will run the world? That is the type of thing you're thinking.
Sure.
Yeah. So let me put it in this way. What is the job of the one, the source, the creator? To create.
Okay.
It creates in infinite ways. There will be no dearth of anything.
I see.
Okay. Even if this world, I don't foresee that is happening. Even if everybody enlightened, everybody learned lessons, experiential lessons in this world, still there will be other dimensions where they will operate.
I see. Okay.
It is a third dimensional world. There are higher dimensions. We are now talking about elevating from 3rd to 5th dimension here in this world. There are already 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, up to 12th, I know they are having. Even more, I don't know. Okay.
So what are these dimensions?
Those are the higher level of operating systems. Okay. Like 5th, you can see that higher level means they are like a being, energy being. It's operated by energy. And this is because now if I say it will be just a theoretical understanding. There is no time and space there. Okay. And the way you exchange is love and gratitude. Okay. Suppose you, so two entities, they decided, so we'll enjoy a certain kind of light. They're enjoying that light. So suppose they're dancing in the light. They enjoy and say love and gratitude, and that fulfills their purpose. Something like that. Complete selfless.
Yeah, it's beyond my comprehension at this point.
Yeah. So forget about that. That is another topic, and theoretical understanding will not take you there. Just remember that there is no time and space there, and they operate with love and gratitude. There is no money involved. I mean, no transaction involved. Okay, we receive something, say thank you, and that's enough. Okay.
One more question, sorry, is when you say that at certain point from the big gamma, we can download all the information. So you don't need to, you can bypass, you said we can bypass our brain, right? So what's happening in this lifetime experience? Should we then, at that point, this lifetime's experience is we are done with this because we know everything? So we shouldn't.
No, it will go to the fifth body.
Yeah.
If you go to the library, it's called Sutratma, which links many lifetimes. It goes there, it stores there, it's available. It's not gone. But what I was talking about, what you will read, means what you will download.
Okay. I'm done with the questions.
All right. So, Nima, you want to ask anything?
Yes. So, I have two questions. Like, first one is this: what is the difference between mind and intellect? And number two, if mind stays or remain around the Manomoy course, where does the intellect remains?
No, you are asking what is the difference between mind and intellect?
Intellect, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. See, the mental body, just for the timing you park that. Okay. Now this is about the physical thing. Don't get confused with your mental activity with the Manomoy Kosha. Okay. You pick up from there, but it operates. Operating platform is your brain. And that is why when a person dies, he cannot feel that. You know, that doesn't come because the physical brain is missing here. That particular person, he doesn't feel. Intellect is that basically it comes from your own, that the memory, and it is a part of the package of ego. Ego consists of three things. Yeah, the brain activity, mind, or not mind, you can say thought mind. Okay. Your thought mind, intellect, and the physical body. These three things combines your ego. This intellect is you developed in this life. It is not passed on to the higher bodies. Only thing is passed on is the experiences, experiential understandings and experiences that goes into your fifth body and gets stored. And that's why the karma is getting stored. Or your skill also in that sense. Something skill you develop, it goes there. But these thoughts and other things, it is generated by your brain, in the physical body. That's why the person who doesn't have a brain, he cannot think that way. The way the normal human being think. The intellect level of that also goes with that, with the physical body. So this mind, body, intellect package is ego. So that's why we say when a person dies, the ego dies with it. There is no ego left because it goes with the physical body. But in the living body, if we have to go to access the higher body, we have to overcome the lower level things and go beyond. Even in the living condition, you need to die to experience the higher bodies. So this intellect is the thought mind, intellect, and your physical body, that is package of your ego, and it operates through your brain in the physical dimension. So Nimai, that is what you are asking, or?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
so you have to distinguish between when we say the mental body or manas sarit, they call, this is your soul's mind, you can say, not physical mind. Okay, so that's what I was mentioning. So it is your soul's mind. Manas sarit, but it is not from something you can bring from manas sarit to your physical brain. That is possible. That's how we can understand and read those things. Physical body, but it is not other way around.
Got it.
Yes.
And there is another word called chitta. Chitta, is it something synonymous with mind or intellect, or it itself is something different?
Chitta, it is a big topic. I will start again another branch and start. I will just briefly touch upon it. I'm not going to explain it. What the mention you chit, that is consciousness. Okay, I leave it there for the time being. Okay, I will not go into that detail and explanation here right now. Okay, Nimai?
Got it.
Yeah, chit is a consciousness. All right. Okay, so all right. Anybody else has got any other question on this particular topic? So already I think we are 1.5 hours now. So so that completes our learning session today.